Well, thanks for joining us for your 5+ weekend wrap. I'm Morgan Wrigley. We're taking a look at the week's top headlines. We start with the stabbing inside the Sebastian County Jail last week when two deputies were rushed to the hospital after police say an inmate attacked them during a routine check. Sebastian County Sheriff's Office held a news conference on Monday, giving the condition of the deputies and telling us what's next for the department. The Sheriff's Office confirms that Lieutenant Brandon McCaslin and Deputy Jacob Marr were both stabbed with the shank on Friday, one more severe than the other. At the press conference, Chief Deputy John Miller said McCaslin was treated and released from the hospital. He also said Deputy Marr's recovery was on track after surgery and that he was released on Sunday. He suffered what Miller described as extensive injuries, including several stab wounds, one of which was directly to a part of his heart. Miller said the suspect, John Anthony Cole, is a dangerous inmate who was already being housed in a segregated unit.
We don't have the space to put him in the type of unit he needs to be in. We're doing our best and new policies are being implemented, but the simple fact is he is a supermax inmate that we do not have a supermax unit.
There are currently no plans to move Cole from the Sebastian County Jail. However, Deputy Miller does say the Sheriff's Office will use this to help with future training. And court documents reveal that Cole is also accused of threatening one of the deputies just days before the attack. Cole was already serving a prison sentence for murder in Arizona and was transferred to Sebastian County to stand trial for another murder charge in Fort Smith. According to court documents, a judge denied Cole's motion to be transferred to a different jail. The court also found Cole in contempt for an alleged threatening remark he made towards Lieutenant Brandon McCaslin during a hearing. In Arkansas, state police are investigating after a man fired shots inside Mercy Hospital in Berryville. This was last weekend. Troopers say William Rose is in custody and receiving treatment after being arrested by Eureka Springs police for aggravated assault and resisting arrest. While at the hospital, investigators say Rose got a hold of a Carroll County deputy's service weapon and fired 2 shots inside the building. No one was hurt, but Rose took off after he was disarmed. He was later caught in a wooded area near the hospital and taken back into custody. Rose now faces several new charges, including aggravated assault on a correctional employee and making a terroristic threat. Well, we're learning new details about an Arkansas rape suspect who authorities say fled the country but has now been brought back to the U.S. Prosecutors say they can't share much because the case involves a child under 14. But as 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi explains, they tell us Richard Lim was tracked down in Thailand and taken to the Washington County Jail.
42-year-old Richard Lim is back in Arkansas. Prosecutors say a day after interviewing with Fayetteville police, Lim took a flight out of Tulsa International to Qatar and eventually made his way to Thailand.
We believe that he was purposefully fleeing. We do have some additional evidence where he called his employer and made up an excuse that was not true about why he wouldn't be at work that night.
Lim is arrested on charges including rape, sexual assault, and grooming a child. Prosecutors say all charges are related to one individual. When it comes to cases involving minor children of sexual abuse, we have to cover a couple of bases. One base is the privacy of the child, the privacy of the victim. And because of that, we never release details about the case. Homeland Security, Interpol, and Thai authorities worked to track him down overseas. The U.S. Marshals Service assisted in bringing him back to Washington County. I want to applaud both the U.S. Marshals, the Fayetteville Police Department, the Washington County Sheriff's Department, and Interpol for locating this man in Thailand and bringing him back. He obviously had no intention of ever seeing Arkansas again.
Lim's arraignment is set for June 9th, and prosecutors say his bond is set high at $1 million because of the attempt to flee during the investigation. Well, more charges are being filed against a man accused of scamming storm victims out of repair money. Austin Lamb is already facing charges of theft by deception in Benton County, and now another victim has come forward. According to Washington County Prosecutor Dennis Dean, a woman filed a complaint in January claiming she gave Lamb a check for $8,600 to buy roofing material. But she says he never fixed her roof and instead spent large amounts of money on personal purchases.
Family member whose name was concealed in the affidavit released by Washington County came forward in January after prosecuting attorney Dennis Dean says it became apparent to her Lamb had no intentions of repairing her roof.
I had some concerns after she paid him the money and couldn't hear from him that his spending had kind of increased and he was basically living beyond his means, kind of a lavish lifestyle, spending money on things that she didn't think, based on his business, he would be able to have the money.
According to the affidavit, the Fayetteville PD found evidence that alleges the money paid for Lamb's services was used on personal expenses like vacation, liquor and tobacco, restaurants, entertainment, and more. She reported that Lamb even blocked her on social media and cut off their relationship to avoid the issue. Before the May 2024 tornadoes, Lamb was already a convicted felon that was on probation after serving a prior sentence. But this March, he was arrested for 3 counts of theft by deception in Benton County for scamming people of roofing services last June. Now he faces an additional charge in Washington County for scamming his family member and violating probation.
Right now, he's charged with theft by receiving a C felony, which is punishable 3 to 10 years in the Department of Correction. However, because of his criminal history, we could seek to enhance that penalty, and he could be facing up to 30 years.
There are multiple confirmed victims in Benton County, and Dean says there could be more in Washington.
If anybody sees the story and they say, oh, I've been a victim of Lamb Enterprises as well, if you pay somebody money to do a job and they do absolutely nothing, and just take your money, that is a crime. There's a difference between civil matters and criminal law. And in this case, if no work is done and the person spends their money on personal things rather than things to get the job done, that could be considered a crime, theft of property, and we're going to come after you.
Lamb posted bail in both Benton and Washington counties. He pleaded not guilty to his Benton County charges, has a pretrial hearing set for June 19th. His court date to make his plea in Washington County is set for June 9th. Well, after 2 failed attempts, Madison County voters have finally passed a sales tax to fund operations for a new jail that's already under construction. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi was in Huntsville, where county leaders say the project will boost public safety.
2022, Madison County voters narrowly approved a 0.5% sales tax to fund a new jail, but shot down a separate tax to keep it running. But after Tuesday's vote, those funds have now been secured. According to unofficial election results, the vote was close, passing by just 16 ballots. The 1% sales tax is expected to generate about $2.5 million to help run the new jail and create local jobs. The facility is under construction now with room for 148 inmates. County Judge Larry Garrett says it will also keep deputies from transporting inmates long distances, freeing them up to stay local.
We're transporting prisoners, some as far as Lafayette County, which is southeast of Texarkana. It takes 2 deputies off the street for 12 hours to make that trip. So, keeping your deputies on the street and in the county patrolling is huge for the safety of the residents.
I'm told construction on the new jail is expected to be completed by this summer and fully operational by next year. In Huntsville, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Well, an organization that helps missing and murdered Indigenous people is leveling some serious allegations in the case of a missing Fort Smith man. 5 News anchor Darren Bobb has that story.
Nearly 4 months after Justin Baker went missing along the Arkansas River near Muldrow, a group called NOISE, or Northeastern Oklahoma Indigenous Safety and Education, is now pushing for continued search efforts and public awareness.
We want awareness brought to Justin's case that it is falling through the cracks. And when I say it's falling through the cracks, I really mean that the tribe is failing, the state's failing, local authorities are failing, and the federal government is failing.
Casey Gullick is with NOISE. She says the group offers a wide range of services like advocacy, search and rescue coordination, and stalking assessments. She says based on all the information they've gathered, this case should have been given to the FBI on day 1.
We know that it crossed state lines at some point throughout the night that Justin went missing. So given the state lines and that Justin is a member of the Cherokee Nation, it should have been turned over to the FBI months ago.
Baker's mom, Kelly Cox, says she agrees.
The last time Justin was seen alive was walking out of Old Town Bar in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And that's why I want the FBI. It should have been investigated for that way from the very beginning.
Gullick says the ultimate goal here is to bring Justin home.
And having a thorough investigation after Justin is brought home to his family and to his mother and daughter. And if there is foul play, we want justice to be served. And we're not going to tread lightly on the power of justice. We're going to demand justice and continue fighting until that happens.
Baker's cousin Amber England says any help with this case is so much appreciated.
We're not going to be okay with Justin being a cold case. That's just not going to be good enough for our family.
They've looked for Justin, can't find him in the river. So what, we just quit? No, we don't quit. We have to find this person, and we just can't let it, just disappear by the wayside. And it's happened far too many times where they just give up, and we can't give up.
We did reach out to the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. That's the investigating agency in this case. The Bureau responded saying on February 10th, 2025, the OSBI was requested by OHP and the Sequoyah County Sheriff's Office to assist with the suspicious disappearance of an adult male following a vehicular accident that occurred on January 24th. It's still an ongoing investigation at this time. Well, new laws passed during the legislative session will mean more changes for Arkansas's education system. With that in mind, educators across the state are already laying the groundwork for next school year. Rebecca Brown sat down with Arkansas Education Secretary Jacob Oliva to break down what comes next for schools in Arkansas.
Nearly 1,000 new laws came out of the 95th General Assembly, and about 100 of them would directly impact Arkansas schools, according to Education Secretary Jacob Oliva.
All the way from early learning through K-12 and post-secondary, it's all high-quality work, and it's something that we look forward to now implementing.
One being the Arkansas Access Act, one of Governor Sanders' top priorities from day one.
Every student, when they leave high school, are ready to meet what we're calling one of the big 3 E's. Is every student ready to be employed, enrolled, or enlisted?
But with the law this big and packed with details, schools and communities have questions. How will it all work and how fast?
So just like when we passed Arkansas Learns, we put out a call to all the expert teachers all across the state that says, we've established 6 work groups and need some people that are willing to spend some time to work with us and give us their boots on the ground expertise so that when we write rules to implement these programs, we can do it right.
Shifting to another major change, the Bell-to-Bell No Cell Phone Act. It's something some school districts have already tested, but now that the pilot phase is over, I asked how full implementation will work.
As we go through this next budget cycle, we're going to identify additional dollars to help support districts. Districts are going to have the ability to determine a methodology that works best for them for implementation. Some districts are buying lockers.
Still, the new law is getting some pushback from parents, especially those worried about not being able to reach their child during an emergency.
If we're implementing crisis management, the last thing we want students to do is be distracted with their phones. They need to listen to the adults that are taking charge of the situation at hand, and we need to make sure we get through whatever crisis and response that we're navigating with. We'll find ways to get access to communicate with parents.
Rebecca Brown, 5 News.
And with the help of a new federal grant, one school district in Northwest Arkansas will be able to feed all students free of charge every day. The Community Eligibility Provision is a federal program that allows high-poverty school districts to provide free breakfast and lunch to all students without requiring household applications. Lincoln Public Schools is the latest district to qualify for this program. The government will reimburse the district about 75% of the cost, with the school district picking up the difference.
This is going to take a big weight off of a parent. And as a parent of children in this school, I know how hard it is to feed your kids on a monthly budget. So with us going free, everybody can eat at a free cost without stressing over paying a large lunch account or having to worry about how you're going to feed your kids that day.
The program will go into effect at the start of the 2025-26 school year at Lincoln Public Schools. And a Poto Event Center is feeding the public through a free summer lunch program. 5 News reporter Jose Carranza met with the organizers of the program, who are ensuring that no student goes without a meal.
Standing here in front of Kavanaugh Event Center, where the center and Superior Pest Solutions are teaming up to put together a free summer lunch program for students. Kicking off, they hope more and more will come for a free meal. Nestled in the heart of downtown Poto, Kavanaugh Event Center is opening its doors to serve more than just celebrations.
It's staying really booked, and I'm happy, and it's providing a lot of cool events for everybody.
Every Tuesday and Thursday, owners Courtney and Dalton Staley are providing free lunches to students. No sign-up or ID required.
I used to work at a dentist office in Fort Smith, and so I feel like I've seen a lot of what goes on, like kids going without what they need. I thought of this as a crazy idea. What if we offered free meals twice a week to anybody who was struggling?
Courtney says the program isn't just for kids. Adults and the elderly are welcome too. Her husband, Dalton, is funding the meals through his business, Superior Pest Solutions, while Cavanaugh Event Center provides the space.
She's very involved with everything. She's, like I say, I mean, this is the perfect example. This is what goes on in her mind, you know, trying to come up with stuff like this to really help people that need it, and we're just happy to be part of it.
Meals are pre-packaged for a quick grab and go, or tables are available for those who want to stay.
If you're in the Poto area, I mean, or if you can get away here, come here, we'll give you food.
The Staleys hope the program will create a real difference in their community. The program will run through the summer with plans to continue if need persists. In Poto, covering the news where you live, Jose Carranza, 5 News.
Well, as the 1-year mark of the Memorial Day weekend tornadoes approaches, we're following repair progress at Lingle Middle School in Rogers, where those storms left behind extensive damage. Crews have made a lot of progress, and construction is now 60% done. Here's some video taken from last year where you can see there was extensive damage to the gym's roof, and parts of the awning was damaged and windows were busted. Now the HVAC system is replaced, and Wednesday new windows were installed. District leaders say the $26 million project has 3 phases. Right now, construction crews are in phase 1 and 2.
Phase 1 and 2 were basically the brunt of the tornado damage, and we got to work on that. Phase 3, that last phase, is actually the storm shelter that we're getting assistance from FEMA to go back and build that. That wasn't necessarily significant tornado damage in that area, but we had an opportunity to capitalize and put in a storm shelter.
The first 2 phases are scheduled to be completed by August 1st. The storm shelter portion should be completed by November 1st, but the kids are welcome in the building on the first day of school. And Arkansas's governor says the president has signed off on federal relief money to help with storm recovery in Arkansas. Here's video showing the aftermath of the tornado in the Cave City area on March 14th. That's one of the communities where the money will go. 3 people across the state died in the severe weather outbreak on that day. Damage was reported in 17 counties. The governor sent out an announcement about the major disaster declaration on Tuesday, saying FEMA will now offer individual assistance to Arkansans impacted by the storms on March 14th and 15th. Well, Southside High School in Fort Smith unveiled a new statue Monday in honor of a longtime track coach and science teacher. Aaron Carius passed away in 2022. On Monday, his family and friends gathered together with coworkers to celebrate the new statue and the lasting impact Coach Carius has had on Southside High. His son says the statue captures his dad's personality and the passion he had for coaching across country and track.
It was definitely more than a job. His whole life was just surrounded around this. I mean, even when he got sick, like my uncle said, he was finding ways to still be at practice even when he was having trouble walking and couldn't run with his team.
You can see the new statue outside the Southside High School Activities Center. Well, a long-awaited project on Maple Street in Fayetteville that promises to increase safety officially breaks ground this week. The plans for Maple Street project have been drawn for 8 years, but it never had the proper funding. And now, with the help of a $7.5 million federal safety grant, plus another $2.5 million from the university and the city, Phase 1 of the project is underway. Phase 1 will better connect the Razorback Greenway to campus and improve safety for pedestrians and bike riders all the way from Gregg Avenue to Leverett. Crosswalks get motion sensor beams to automatically activate flashing lights, replacing the traditional push-button system people often forget to press. There are also plans to expand the street to 2 travel lanes for cars and add a 2-way protected bike lane. Lastly, they plan to build a new senior sidewalk with the names of 5 to 6 years worth of graduates.
We do ask people to just kind of redirect around the area. Gregg Street should still be functional. West Avenue by Wilson Park is an option. Cleveland to the north. Cleveland Street runs north and or east and west, just to the north of Maple Street. So we just encourage, and there'll be detour signs, just taking those alternate routes around us for the summer, so we can really get after it and get that work done.
This phase is planned to be done by the end of the summer, and then they can get started on phase 2 from Leverett down to Garland next summer. The city of Bella Vista says it wants input from area developers about a new law concerning development in the city. 5 News reporter Parker Abels tells us what the new law is and how it will affect builders.
Next Monday, the city of Bella Vista is hosting a meeting for builders in the area to discuss a new law that's going into effect on June 1st. The new law is going to change how these workers get building permits.
Basically, it's changing the requirements that are submitted prior to being issued a building permit. So it's just basically there's more required on the front end to be submitted and reviewed before the building permit is issued.
They also plan to discuss a new bill passed this legislative session.
It addresses building code related items also. And so we're also going to kind of summarize that and make sure the builders have all that information.
As for Bella Vista City Council member Travis Harp, he says he also wants this meeting to be about working with builders to make working with the city easier for them.
Since I took office, first of the year, I've received numerous complaints from builders, contractors, and developers that ongoing issues that they say is preventing them from effectively doing their job here in the city limits of Bella Vista. Obviously, I take that complaint seriously, so I'm working on legislation aimed at improving that process.
He hopes this meeting will help everyone get on the same page when it comes to construction in the city.
Collectively, everyone wants to do the right thing. I think just getting on the same page and setting expectations, hopefully that will be a step in the right direction. But again, I think it's important that we have to do some self-reflection on our side in the city and say maybe there's some things that we could do better to truly get a solution to this.
In Bella Vista, covering news where you live, Parker Abels, 5 News.
Well, the Arkansas Department of Health hosted measles clinics this week as the number of infections in the state continues to rise. 2 new cases discovered in the Conway area brings the total across the state this year to 6. ADH says there were 3 potential exposure sites the patients visited while infected. To slow the spread, ADH held a free measles vaccine clinic in Conway on Tuesday. The department says it's important with the virus spreading in Arkansas for people to know their vaccine status and carefully watch for the signs of an infection.
And things to look out for are very mediocre, like flu symptoms and things like that, and most definitely the telltale rash that's associated with it. Those are the things to look for. It's always good to err on the side of caution.
ADH says that any local health unit can also administer vaccines if you need one. You can also make appointments with your local pharmacy. Well, a grandfather in Arkansas is back to living life on his terms after becoming the first patient in the state to receive a new cancer treatment. Karen Fuller spoke with him and explains how this groundbreaking new treatment works.
I've had kidney stones for a long time.
Because of his experience with kidney stones, 77-year-old Carl Moyer is familiar with the UAMS campus and the Department of Urology. In December, his annual screening test for prostate cancer, called a PSA test, revealed alarming results. Within weeks, more testing found that Carl did have prostate cancer.
I was hoping that it wasn't aggressive enough that it would spread elsewhere, and I was relieved that it sounded like it was fixable.
Carl's urologist referred him to the UAMS Winthrop P. Rockefeller Cancer Institute, where he met Dr. Murat Aydin. Dr. Aydin reassured Carl he was in good hands. UAMS is the first provider in Arkansas to offer focal therapy called the NanoKnife. The NanoKnife uses irreversible electroporation to direct short, high-voltage electrical pulses, isolating the tumor while saving the healthy cells around it. And because Carl's cancer was localized, Dr. Aydin says he was an ideal candidate.
The goal is with focal therapy to minimize the tissue damage around the prostate gland, which is important for keeping quality of life and function of the body, but in the meantime to destroy the prostate cancer.
The NanoKnife is minimally invasive, helping Carl in his recovery.
It was an outpatient procedure. I got home, I was able to walk into my house. I was tired. I got into bed, pretty much stayed there for a while. But I had my 10-day follow-up with Dr. Aydin, and he said everything looked fine.
Carl's story is a testament to the power of early detection and advanced medicine, offering hope to other men with similar battles. With his cancer cells gone, Carl says he's eager to get back to normal.
I love that we have and feel blessed that we have UAMS and the staff and the fact that they were able to get this advanced equipment. And that I was the first one. I would encourage anybody that is a candidate for this procedure to take advantage, because it's life-saving.
Well, the director of the Veterans Healthcare System of the Ozarks is retiring. The VA announced that Dr. George Velez is stepping away from federal service. He served as a director since 2023, overseeing healthcare and facilities in 3 states that delivered healthcare to more than 60,000 veterans. Prior to leading the Veterans Healthcare System of the Ozarks, Dr. Velez was a deputy director of the VA hospital in Puerto Rico. Well, we're sharing the story of a Bella Vista man whose journey from teenager to war hero spanned nearly a century. Now, at 100 years old, he's going back to France, the place where he helped change the course of history. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer introduces us to KB Smith.
Outgoing, just friendly, wonderful person.
Kenneth B. Smith, but known to most as KB, joined the Navy when he was just 17.
July 1st, 1943, we boarded the USS Satterley up here, and one of the members of the group was Henry Fonda.
KB became a part of a historic moment when his ship fired the first shots before the Normandy invasion.
We trained in the Pacific and were chosen to for D-Day to support the 2nd Ranger Battalion at Point du Hoc.
He's the last surviving member of the 276-man crew. He's been back to France the past 3 years to celebrate D-Day and honor the sacrifices made.
It's kind of strange when you get back over. I always look for somebody familiar, but it's a little tougher to find every year.
But this year, KB is preparing for his most special trip yet. He'll leave the U.S. at 99, but he'll land in France at 100 years old.
It's quite an honor.
Tuesday, a room of people gathered to celebrate KB's birthday and send him off to France.
What a surprise that was.
This celebration is more than just a milestone. It's a tribute to a generation that's fading from memory, says Lieutenant Colonel Jim Parsons.
We wanted to honor him tonight and be able to tell his story while we still can.
And as KB approaches 100, he says he attributes his life to the people around him and a Navy-taught habit that's stuck with him.
Have a good wife. Now, she took real good care of me. Picked up a lot of good habits in the Navy, and still to this day, I still make my bed first thing in the morning.
In Rogers, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
KB says he plans to make the return trip to France next month. Well, thank you so much for watching the 5 Plus Weekend Wrap. And while you're here on 5 Plus, you can check out our latest newscasts and our weather impact forecast on demand, along with other original content from our 5 News team. Have a great weekend.